I was just looking at the Big 12. Big 12 had the stupid media day, and boy, I tell you, there was no headline from it other than Brett Yormark yapping, and who cares?
Well, they're confident about the playoff format.
Yeah, he likes the 5'11". You know, he's doing his bits, and he's sharp, and whatever. We'll see if he gets what he wants. I
love that summary of the Big 12 media day.
Well,
he's
look,
sharp and whatever.
Here's a little behind the curtain. When I show prep, and it is award-winning show prep that I do on a daily basis, I will always, just in case, I will always Google, just plain Google Oregon Ducks.
Sure.
Right? If anything happened with the Ducks, it populates.
Okay.
So just make sure I didn't miss anything, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you Google Big 12 Media Day, the biggest things from Big 12 Media Day will pop up.
Sure.
And let me tell you, nothing popped up. Nothing.
Well,
How did
I know?
I got a Kalani Sitake. What BYU coach Kalani Sitake said about Jake Retzlaff.
Yeah. Well, that was a big one. I listened to some of his presser, and believe me, some means like 4 minutes, and that was everyone wanted. He had to defend the honor code again because everyone gets all.
He's the head coach. He better defend it.
Yes.
Big 12 commercial unveiled at Football Media Day. Didn't click on that.
No, I did not.
Well, I'm telling you, I didn't click on that.
Nor did I.
Wow! Transcript, Matt Campbell, formal Big 12 Media Days press conference. Didn't click on that. Welcome back. See photos from Big 12 Media Day. See, it's like there's nothing there.
Hey.
There's nothing there.
What?
There's one thing.
There's one thing. Because I took another thing, too. I got two.
Okay, so we have two things from Big 12 Media Day. Okay, the first one, or the only thing that I thought of was, because I did see a headline talking about Scott Frost.
Yes.
I
think I know of what you're speaking of.
And I went, wait a minute. Scott Frost?
Yeah.
Where is Scott Frost now? Is he back in Nebraska again?
No, he's at Central Florida.
Again?
Yes.
Okay.
And he's in the Big 12. So that led me down the rabbit hole of Googling new Big 12 coaches this year because I needed to refresh my sports brain.
Yes.
And there are two. Do you know the other one?
In the Big 12.
Yep. Two new coaches.
Scott Frost, I know that. And Scott Frost, which, can we say what he said that was kind of controversial?
I didn't see what he said.
Oh, well, Scott Frost
I just know that he's a coach.
He basically said, be careful of basically taking bad jobs. And I was like, dude, that's a shot at Nebraska.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought that was, it wasn't in so many terms, but he talked about like being wary of taking certain jobs.
Well, you got to be careful with that.
Yeah.
Does he?
And
I don't know. I think that you run the risk. I mean, are you calling your alma mater a bad job, or are you trying to say that be careful of what expectations are when you go to a new place? Like, I think the words and the language matter there.
Well, look, I'll be honest. This is where you do have to be careful, because when I heard Scott Frost's comment, it was in a 8-second soundbite, right? Just coming across. So maybe there was greater context to it. But when I heard the Scott Frost quote, my first reaction was, ooh, God. Like, how is that not a direct shot at Nebraska? Because his point was, like, basically, he had great success in Central Florida. He left Central Florida and now is back and is doing the I should have never left. Right. Be wary of taking jobs. And I'm like, dude, you're telling me that the Central Florida job is better than Nebraska and somehow you shouldn't have taken that?
Well, he went 19-7 at Central Florida.
Yes.
Including 13-0.
Yeah.
And that was 2 seasons after they went over. But he went 16-31 at Nebraska.
Yeah.
So you tell me which is the better job.
Just stop it. Just stop it.
I have the quote here, by the way.
That's code for, dude, you washed out. And by the way, the reports out of Nebraska was that dude was checked out from day one. That's not on Nebraska. That's on your sorry ass.
So the headline is, Scott Frost's latest silly quote has Nebraska fans furious. See, now we're getting somewhere.
There we go. Well,
Let's go.
You wanted something.
Yes.
I gave you something.
Look at you. You're such a hero, sports hero.
I spent 30 minutes today perusing Big 12 Media Day, which was probably 26 minutes too much.
Yeah,
I got something's on.
My 4 minutes.
There was nothing else
That's what I told you. That's why I had nothing.
I found that.
But you went 26 minutes longer. Maybe your show prep should be award-winning.
It is not.
Frost's latest comments are annoying to Husker fans, but they should also make UCF faithful very nervous. When asked what he learned from his time in Lincoln, Frost made it clear the honest answer to that question is nothing. Quote, don't take the wrong job.
Yeah.
I said I wouldn't leave UCF unless it was someplace you could win a national championship. I got tugged in a direction to try to help my alma mater and didn't really want to do it.
Whoa.
It wasn't a good move. I'm lucky to get back to a place where I was a lot happier. End quote.
No one put a gun to your head, dude.
Can I say
I really didn't want to do it? Then don't.
How about this? The 8-second clip that I heard was way better. When I heard that, I was like, all right, let's find some context. The context makes it way, way worse. By the way, the reports of Scott Frost and why that didn't work at Nebraska, some of that might have gone the Larry Eustace partying with co-eds sort of thing. Hey, Scott, where does that fit into the I don't want to be here? You wanted to be with the co-eds.
That actually tracks that he didn't want to be there. He's like, screw it, I'm just going to go party with Hots.
Well, that does make sense.
He also said, okay, so Scott Frost says taking the Nebraska job was his biggest mistake. And then he said, I think all experience, good and bad, gives you wisdom and new perspective. Biggest thing I've learned probably, you can't do anything alone. End quote.
So again, that's a staff that you...
Damn, dude.
I don't know.
Well, I tell you, he
That's passing the buck.
Well, obviously, he's one. He's got a huge ego,
Yeah.
and he is looking to blame anybody but himself. But
Yes.
two, there probably was friction. I mean, look, who's won at Nebraska since
Tom Osborne.
Nobody.
Bo Pelini, that's it.
it's I think
And even just a little with Pelini. It wasn't like he was great.
he did not say
Never
that.
won less than 9 games.
He did
that
not
right?
say that very well.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing he has just exposed that, hey, if you take the Nebraska job, be freaking careful.
Yeah.
Now, you're not supposed to say that, but and he kind of pussyfooted around it, but he's probably got some points. If you really were to give him true serum and he could sit down and talk about it,
Sure.
I'm sure he could tell you, look, here's what happened. He clearly had friction with whoever was the AD. Is it Trev Albert?
Yeah, it was Trev
over there.
Alberts.
So that I'm sure he didn't get along with him, or he didn't get what he thought he needed to win, or because it's a new age of college football.
He's also heard all the things that people are saying about him that Suke just brought up, about how he was checked out. He's heard the reports about him, and he's firing back, too.
Yeah, but he did seem to be really that was a weird tenure.
Very much so.
And he's got to take ownership of that. I mean, come on, dude.
I don't care who you are,
Right.
but when you go 4-8, 5-7, 3-5, and 3-9
at Nebraska, I mean,
at
you can
Nebraska,
do better than that.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not saying that Nebraska will ever get back to old Nebraska. But when Wisconsin's winning 8 and 9 games and is competing for Big Ten titles, and you roll into Lincoln and you put up that horse crap, I'm sorry, that's on you. It just is. And then, I'm sorry, but there's enough of those reports, Gary Anderson. I understand that when things aren't going well, guys tend to get slandered a little bit. But these things started coming out immediately at Nebraska. And they didn't come out of nowhere. You know who else had these when he was at UW? Sark. And you know who else had these when he was at USC? Sark. These things don't come from nowhere. Or did they get blown out? Or
Kiffin
maybe
at Ole Miss right now. He's stopped, but there's a lot of rumors about what he's done down there.
Exactly.
Well, it sounds like he quiet quit.
Yeah.
On him.
Yeah.
Which is weird for
Sounds like he
football.
quiet never started. He said, I didn't really want to do it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And maybe that's his point.
Took the money.
Maybe he just took the money and was never really committed to it. As Rob said, I'll just party with co-eds. But again, if you take a job that you don't want and then you fall on your ass and your name is mud and the only place that'll have you back is Central Florida, that's on you. Don't act like Nebraska somehow did you wrong. If anything, you did Nebraska wrong.
Well, they obviously pissed him off.
Yeah.